Hi, and welcome back to the Agile AI Solutions Primer Series on prompt engineering. I'm Rick, and if you've been following along, you know we've been building your foundation in prompt engineering step by step. We began this journey starting with the history of AI, explored how these systems think, and discussed the fundamental principles that make prompts work. But here's the thing, knowing the principles is only half the battle. The real magic happens when you learn to structure your prompts with precision. Think of it this way: you can have all the right ingredients for a great meal, but if you don't know how to combine them properly, you're just hoping for the best. In this course, we're going to focus on two critical elements that separate mediocre prompts from exceptional ones: content and context. Content is what you're asking for, the actual task, the specific information you need. Context is the environment you create around that task, the background, the constraints, the purpose. Master these two elements, and you'll transform how AI responds to you. You'll get outputs that are not just accurate, but relevant, targeted, and aligned with your actual goals. So let's dive in and unlock the blueprint for AI engagement that really works. All right, let's start with the big picture. When we talk about content and context in prompt engineering, we're really talking about precision and relevance. Think about it. Have you ever asked AI a question and gotten a response that was technically correct but completely missed the mark? That's what happens when content and context aren't aligned. So what does proper alignment give us? First, enhanced accuracy and relevance. When your content is precise, when you're crystal clear about what you're asking, and when you provide the right context, AI understands not just which you want, but which why you want it. The result, responses that actually hit the target. Second, improved efficiency and productivity. Poor prompts mean back and forth corrections, wasted time, and frustration. Strong prompts with clear content and context mean you get what you need on the first try. That's workflow efficiency. Third, enhanced team collaboration. Here's something people don't always think about. When you establish shared understanding through well-crafted prompts, you're creating a common language. Your team starts using AI the same way, which means more consistent outputs and better cross-functional alignment. Fourth, strategic alignment and anticipation. Good prompts don't just solve today's problem. They align with your long-term goals. They help you think ahead, anticipate challenges, and prepare for what's coming. And finally, customization and adaptability. Every project is different. Every organization has unique needs. Well, structured prompts allow you to tailor AI responses to meet those specific requirements and adapt quickly when things change. So that's the value proposition. Now let's break down how to actually achieve this, starting with content. So what exactly is setting content in a prompt? Simply put, it's crafting the actual input you give to the AI system with precision and thoughtfulness. It's not just throwing words at a screen and hoping for the best. The specificity and clarity of your content directly influence three things: relevance, accuracy, and usefulness. Let me give you an example. If you ask AI, tell me about marketing, you'll get something generic and broad. But if you ask, create a 3-month content marketing strategy for a B2B SaaS startup targeting CFOs and mid-sized manufacturing companies, now you're getting somewhere. See the difference? Now, effective content setting has two core impacts. First, it minimizes the risk of misinterpretation. When you're vague, AI has to guess what you mean. And AI guesses aren't always good. Well-defined content eliminates ambiguity. Second, it ensures more efficient interactions. You get what you need faster, with fewer rounds of clarification. On the right side of this slide, you'll see the key components we'll be exploring. We'll look at strategies for effective content setting, how to actually craft these prompts well. We'll examine the challenges you'll face, because yes, there are pitfalls, and we'll walk through real examples to make this concrete. But before we get there, let's talk about the principles that guide great content. Effective content setting isn't random, it follows clear principles. Let's break them down. First, clarity of purpose. That's your prompt should clearly state what is expected from the AI. Explicit objectives matter. If you want a report, say so. If you want a prioritized list, say so. If you want code, say so. Don't make AI guess your intent. Second, specificity of information. Include all necessary details that pertain to the task at hand. Relevant details are your friend. Think about what information the AI actually needs to give you a good answer, and provide it. A third, simplicity and conciseness. This one's tricky. You want detail, but you don't want overload. Avoid overloading the prompt with unnecessary information that can confuse AI systems. Keep it focused. Keep it clean. A fourth, actionable requests. This is huge. The prompt should make it clear what type of action or output is expected, Are you asking for analysis, for creation, for a decision, for recommendations? Clear calls to action guide AI's response. See fifth, structured formatting. See organize the content in a logical, easy to follow manner. Use structure to your advantage. Bullet points when appropriate, numbered steps, clear sections. Logical flow helps AI process your request effectively. Sixth, adaptability to AI capabilities. Here's something people miss. You need to design your prompts with an understanding of the AI model's capabilities and limitations. Not every AI can do everything well. Know your tool. Seventh, iterative refinement. This is critical. Use the outcomes of AI interactions as feedback to refine and adjust future prompts. Prompt engineering is an iterative process. You get better over time by learning from what works and what doesn't. And finally, ethical and bias consideration. Be aware of and actively work to mitigate potential biases in AI responses. Mindful crafting means thinking about the impact of your prompts and ensuring they lead to fair, balanced outputs. All right, principles in place. Let's see them in action. Let's make this real with a product owner scenario. Imagine you're a product owner and you need to understand user preferences for your next update. Here's a basic prompt. Understand user preferences for our next update. A short, simple, but vague. Now here's an enhanced prompt. Design and distribute a survey to our active user base by next week, focusing on gathering specific feedback about desired features and improvements for our next update. Analyze survey responses to identify the top 3 requested features, ensuring alignment with our product vision. Present a prioritized list of these features, with a proposed action plan for their inclusion in our roadmap at our next product strategy meeting. See what happened there. Let's break it down with the 3 key elements shown on this slide. A, specificity and detail. The enhanced prompt specifies the task, designing a survey. It tells you WHO to distribute it to, active user base. It tells you what information to gather, specific feedback about desired features. And it makes the task clear and focused. Desired outcome and relevance essere. It clearly states the purpose, identifying top user, requested features for roadmap planning. This links the task directly to strategic product development. There's no confusion about why this matters, as actionable steps and format. Finally, it specifies the expected format, a prioritized list with an action plan, and it provides context for sharing these findings, the product strategy meeting. This gives a clear path for implementation. That's what specificity looks like in practice. Now let's look at another role. Here's a QA engineer example. Basic prompt I. Ensure the new feature works as intended. Oh, again, short, vague, unhelpful. Enhanced prompt. Perform a detailed validation of the latest feature addition, focusing on its functionality, compatibility with existing features, and user experience consistency across all devices and platforms. Document every test case, including any failures or anomalies, in our project management tool, categorizing them by severity and impact on the overall user experience. Compile a testing summary with recommendations for prioritizing bug fixes, and schedule a review session with the development team by the end of this sprint. Much better. Let's break it down. Specificity and detail. The enhanced prompt specifies the areas to focus on: functionality, compatibility, and user experience. It ensures thoroughness and clarity in the testing process. A desired outcome and relevance. It directs the QA process towards improving overall quality. It links the task to user satisfaction and project success. This isn't just testing for testing's sake, it's testing with purpose. Lastly, actionable steps and format. It details the format, a testing summary with specific next steps, and it makes it clear what's expected as a follow-up. The review session with the development team. No ambiguity, no wasted effort. That's the power of structured content. Now let's look at a direct comparison to really drive this home. Here's a poorly structured prompt for a product owner. Need to look into app issues based on user feedback. They're unhappy with something, maybe functionality or content. See what changes might help? What's wrong here? It's vague, it's uncertain, it lacks direction. The AI has no clear task, no specific focus, no actionable outcome. Now here's a better structured prompt. Analyze recent user feedback targeting app functionality and satisfaction. Identify top 3 issues and propose specific improvements for review in our next strategy meeting on Friday. What changed? Our specificity and clarity. The better prompt directly focuses on app functionality and satisfaction, eliminating vagueness and concentrating efforts. This actionable outcome, it calls for specific improvements, clarifying that actionable solutions are expected, not just identification of issues. Our structured delivery, it requests findings for the next strategy meeting, setting a clear context for presenting the outcomes. Deadline, the mention of Friday. as a deadline underscores urgency and helps with time management. A data-driven analysis by asking for an analysis of user feedback. It encourages decisions based on user insights. This is the difference between throwing spaghetti at the wall and surgical precision. All right, we've covered content thoroughly. Now let's shift gears and talk about context. So what is context? Context is creating a background or environment for the AI that informs how it should interpret the prompt and generate its response. It's the why, behind the what. And here's the thing, context setting is crucial because it helps the AI understand the situation, task, or problem more holistically. Without context, even the most specific content can fall flat. Think about it this way: if I ask you to write a report, you'd have questions, right? What kind of report? For whom? What's the goal? What tone should it have? That's context. And when you provide that context to AI, the relevance and accuracy of its outputs improve dramatically. Context transforms a generic response into a targeted, useful one. It's the difference between getting something that's technically correct and getting something that actually solves your problem. So how do we set context effectively? Let's explore the strategies. There are several key strategies for setting strong context in your prompts. First, explicit background information, as incorporate relevant background information directly related to the task at hand. This can include project goals, user demographics, or previous interactions that might influence the response. Give AI the full picture. As second, temporal and spatial context. Say for tasks where time and location are relevant. Include these details. Is this for a Q4 release? Is this targeting users in a specific region? These details orient the AI's understanding in response to the current situation. Pass third, user intent and preferences. Clarify the end user's intent and any known preferences or constraints. This helps tailor AI responses more closely to user expectations. If you know your users prefer minimal downtime, say that. If they value innovation over stability, say that. A fourth, historical data and previous interactions. Reference historical data and previous interactions. This provides a learning context for the AI, helping it build on past knowledge and improve over time. As fifth, cultural and societal norms. In contexts where cultural sensitivities and societal norms are relevant, these should be clearly communicated. This ensures responses are appropriate and considerate. AI doesn't inherently know cultural nuance unless you provide it. And finally, ethical and privacy considerations. Highlight any ethical guidelines and privacy considerations the AI needs to adhere to. This ensures responses remain within acceptable boundaries. If you're dealing with sensitive data, make that clear. Now let's see these strategies in action with real examples. Let's revisit our product owner scenario, this time focusing on context. Basic prompting. Given these customer feedback examples, generate a response to each. The app crashes every time I try to upload a photo. Why can't I find the feature to adjust privacy settings? The latest update has made the interface very confusing. It's a straightforward few-shot learning scenario, but it lacks depth. Here's an enhanced prompt with contextual cues. Our mobile application, aimed at providing users with a secure and user-friendly platform for photo sharing, has recently been updated. We prioritize user privacy and strive to maintain a seamless user experience. However, feedback indicates issues that need addressing, considering our commitment to user data protection and ease of navigation. Respond to the following customer feedback while ensuring solutions adhere to ethical standards and privacy regulations. Followed by the same customer feedback examples. What changed? As explicit background cues. By describing the app as a secure and user-friendly platform for photo sharing and mentioning the recent update, the prompt sets a clear context. As ethical and privacy concerns, highlighting user privacy and the need to adhere to ethical standards and privacy regulations. Explicitly informs the AI of critical importance. This isn't just about fixing bugs, it's about doing so responsibly. Ask application purpose and values. The prompt reflects the application's purpose and the organization's values. Responses not only address functional issues, but also respect the commitment to privacy and ethical practices. That's context at work. Here's a release train engineer example that uses user intent and temporal context. The scenario: identify potential risks in the upcoming software release based on past issues. Basic approach. Just list some risks. But here's an enhanced prompty. As we approach the Q4 release of our financial management software tailored for small businesses, prioritize risks that could impact user experience, focusing on features like real-time reporting and tax compliance. Consider users' preference for minimal downtime and the critical year and financial planning period. Let's break down what's happening here. The enhanced prompt in incorporating user intent and temporal context sharpens the focus on user-critical features. It acknowledges the timing Q4, year, and financial planning. This leads to more targeted and impactful risk prioritization. Ask the user intent and preferences. The prompt highlights specific user needs, minimal downtime, critical features. It directs attention toward aspects most likely to affect user satisfaction. Temporal and spatial context. Acknowledging the Q4 release timeframe adds urgency. It emphasizes the significance for users' year and financial activities. The result, AI prioritizes risks that are not just theoretical, but actually matter to users at this specific moment in time. That's strategic context. Here's our final example. A product owner scenario focused on cultural insights and historical data. Basic prompt, improve our language learning app to cater to a wider audience. A vague and generic. Enhanced prompt, A is a product owner, recognizing the diverse backgrounds of our app's users, and considering the constructive feedback received on the need for more culturally nuanced language content, outline enhancements for our language learning app. Aim to introduce features that support language nuances across different regions, including idiomatic expressions, cultural references, and varying dialects. Reflect on the success of our cultural immersion series, which saw increased engagement to guide these updates. What's different? R's enhanced prompt T incorporating detailed user feedback and cultural considerations empowers the product owner to direct feature development effectively. This enhances the app's appeal and utility across a global user base. Brought cultural and societal norms, focusing on enriching the app with culturally nuanced content respects and highlights cultural diversity within language learning. This isn't just about translation, it's about true comprehension. Parsera historical data and previous interactions. Leveraging the positive reception of culturally rich content in past updates ensures new features resonate with users' interests and feedback. You're building on what worked. This is how you create AI prompts that lead to meaningful, impactful outcomes. Now let's talk about how do you actually provide content to AI. There are different methods, and choosing the right one matters. You've got direct input, just typing text. That works for simple queries, but for more complex interactions, you might need structured data, like JSON or CSV formats, to ensure AI processes information correctly. You've got attachments and media, images, documents, files. These expand what AI can work with, especially for visual analysis or document processing. You've got embedded links or references, pointing AI to external resources. You've got contextual metadata, additional information that frames your request. You've got code snippets, for technical tasks where showing is better than telling. And you've got annotated or labeled data, pre-processed information that guides AI's understanding. The key takeaway: direct textual content might be sufficient for simple queries, but for complex interactions, structured data or code snippets could be necessary. Always consider the AI's capabilities and limitations. Not all systems can process every type of content effectively. Match your method to your task, and you'll get better results. All right, time to put this into practice. Here's your exercise diary. Step 1. Write a prompt for the following scenario, choosing to be in the role of program manager, product owner, scrum master, developer, or QA engineer. The scenario: you work within a team that builds and supports an outdoor enthusiast application and want to create a new feature for users to access activities by season for different regions of the country. Take your time. Think about content. What specifically are you asking for? Think about context. What background does AI need to give you a great response? Step 2 is to ask your AI assistant to review your prompt and weigh it against the key principles for content crafting. Get feedback. Iterate. Improve. Remember, there is no one right way to do this. Experiment. The best prompt engineers learn by doing, by testing, by refining. So give it a shot and see what you create.